Sup shooters, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Marky Rocks titled Nuestros Recuerdos. And if we switch over to here, I believe that is Spanish if I'm not mistaken. My Spanish is kind of rough. I think this is like Our Memories or something like that. We're going to listen through this track from start to finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do this. Oh. Nice, cute little, what is that instrument? Like a marimba or something like that? I love the reverb change alongside the crispness of the vocals. Oh, really pretty. That volume, that vibrato, sorry, is phenomenal.
No te preocupes, mi amor, mi amor. Recuerdo bien aquel momento, mi amor, mi amor.
I like the vocal style here. It's very sort of intense and like they're having a very sort of gentle conversation with each other.
Cuando nos separamos, tú y yo, tú y yo, tú y yo.
It's nice to have the backing vocals on the sides of the stereo field as well. Ooh, and that bass response, damn dude. What a shimmer. I love these jazzy infusions with the harmonies. Whilst we talk about Our Memories, you know, that softness where I'm getting some of the words. I think this song is about the woman talking about, you know, you and I as they're what they used to have, you know, discussing it. I'm not sure whether it's a pleasant or an unpleasant conversation at this point in time. Maybe they've been suffering and they're trying to come back from it.
Ya no te pienso cada mañana, ya no te busco sobre mi cama. Hoy para mí ya no eres nada, ya no eres nada. Recuerda las mil historias que me inventaba. Hoy para mí ya no son nada. Y si te veo para mí no significa nada.
No significance, so it's not that important or something like that. I know I'm missing context here, but are we trying to say that the things that tore us apart weren't as important, or maybe the relationship wasn't as important? And those sort of cute little electric keyboard vibes with the chords and everything like that, they're a charming little seventh harmony there. I love the resonance of that 808 and the low end there. It's so nicely mixed. And that whoosh that comes in at the start of the hook really blankets the entrance of that. No somos nada. We are not nothing. You know, it's not, oh, okay. That oscillation of that bass alongside the head voice going on the upper range, fantastic contrast to pitch and tone. That West Coast kind of synth there from the 90s hip-hop R&B rub is a great work with the, I mean, I hesitate to say reggaeton groove there. I know there's other rhythms alongside that. But I like how sort of chilled out and friendly and relaxed it is, you know, listening to this. And those like vocal harmonies themselves, the tone of them, the way they're recording and sort of oscillating one another are absolutely sensational. It's charming. If I'm not mistaken with Our Memories, what that being repeated there, you know, I'm not entirely sure what this track is about, even though I think I've understood a little bit of it correctly.
También murieron nuestros recuerdos.
It's interesting, you know, got a phenomenal singer. I mean, because this is the conclusion I have of this track, Nuestros Recuerdos. By Marky Rocks. It's an interesting sort of a revival we've got here, you know. There's a sadness to the story that's being told there, and again, my Spanish isn't phenomenal. I know a little bit, enough that I should know more, but yeah, I think this is about two people, and one's calling out to the other saying, you know, like, we weren't nothing, maybe things already sort of like suffered or something. Maybe things are already over. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, man. It's tricky, you know. We're trying to at least consolidate the relationship or the situation we had and trying to figure out if it was worth it in the end. That's my take on it. Whether it's a hot take or not, I don't know. But I nonetheless enjoyed my time listening to it. I mean, the vocal performances were absolutely sensational, you know. Phenomenal technique going between head and chest voice. You know, great use of vibratos and those legato passages. And it wasn't just the main lead center vocals in the middle. It was also the backing vocals on the sides and how pad-like and pristine they were. That's not just a production thing, that's also just a general technique thing. And we had little bits of articulation and flourish there near the end and in the middle of some of those parts, you know, room here to show just how much of a grasp we had over, you know, like not only technique but also music theory and composition, was how some of these melodies that we sang along the way sort of interacted with everything else and still sounded utterly pleasant and phenomenal. Even if we had some complexity of those chords that were played on those sort of harmonic instruments in the background, especially in that hook section, it was cool, really cool stuff. So the vocals were sorted and they sounded as if they were appropriate to the sadness or like the acceptance, whichever is of the two is you know, applicable here to the song or the lyrics. I think that the theme overall, the motif was fascinating. It does sound like people who are somber and just coming to terms with a loss. I think that having a track just under 4 minutes allowed us to sort of repeat that hook enough times as we need to, especially at the end, was also allowing a little bit of elaboration with the verse for the story, and ultimately just, you know, there was a lot of focus on the vocals throughout this track. I think partially because the motif was meant to be a little more sort of neutral. You had the percussion occasionally, you had those cute little boom, boom, boom that repeated throughout that motif along the way. Obviously we had the fushy stuff going on the hook alongside that 808 there, you know, I haven't got any massive complaints about that. Even some sort of future bass elements there with the way that those sort of extended, so whomp, whomp, whomp oscillations came in alongside some medium elements with the oscillation and interlude section. I don't really think we needed to add more to it. Again, with the focus on the vocals, adding more to the overall arrangement would have maybe it would have been a little bit too busy. I think especially when you've got those different levels of vocal harmony there, you kind of don't want to over ice it even more than you may have already done so. But to be fair, again, there's competency in the arrangement and the way those vocals were stacked alongside everything else. It was balanced from like a frequency spectrum perspective. We didn't have too many things in the same sort of area to sort of overcrowd and sort of dull it. I think that's part of the reason why it sounded so well leveled, I think, is because we did pay careful attention to how things were going to be placed in that stereo field and in the frequency spectrum. The motif did sound like it was, you know, it did sound like there was a little bit of complexity to the overall situation. It wasn't just a sad sort of light backing. There's a bit of freshness to it, a little bit of maturity there, a little bit of sophistication there that allowed us to sort of figure out that there was more than maybe than meets the eye to what was being told to us. I think that little hints like that can help a listener follow along with what's going on, even though they don't necessarily understand everything that's going on. I think the recording, mixing, mastering was done very well. I think the quality of the vocal recording itself was very nice and crisp and clear. There was a little bit of compression as well on the vocals that sort of leveled everything else, and there was nice attention to the panning of the stuff, different vocal takes in the frequency spectrum to keep things nice and full sounding. The leveling of all the other elements in the mix was great too. Again, careful attention to the phrasing and niching of them in the frequency spectrum, you know, a little bit of effects processing, a little bit of reverb going on. There were some of those sort of thinner melodic elements to give it a bit more oomph and a bit more size to it, a bit more heft, you know, just to help balance out the, you know, the relative intensity of the vocals in some parts. Again, fantastic balancing of the 808s with the percussion and the fushes going on in that hook section. Great shift to perceived loudness between those verses and hooks, even if we didn't necessarily make it actually louder from a limiting compression perspective, in which case, you know, like the overall, again, the overall sort of volumes of different tracks were great, and the limiting compression itself is done very well on the master chain, you know. There wasn't any pumping or anything weird like that. It was great, you know. Overall, you know, I haven't really got any complaints about this track. I think it's well written and well produced and well performed, because this is effectively my review of Nuestros Recuerdos by Marky Rocks. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go check out their various social medias and their Spotify page, and stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as you need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spider hands out.